When it comes to money conversation and relationships, to me, I care less about how much money you have and more about your ability to delay gratification.
Ooh, explain that.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like money comes and goes, but I need to know your decision making behind money, because managing money starts with one thing, right? They always say go with what you know. I know 100% if I want to be good with money, I have to spend less than what I make.
Yes.
We've seen people who are millionaires still go broke. Why? Not because they have an income problem, it's because they have an expense problem.
Yes.
Right? So I need to know that you can actually delay your gratification for something that you want, because no matter who we are or how much money we have, we can always spend to the limit. Hey guys, welcome back to
Real Love Scenario.
Shout out to all our real lovers out there. Welcome back. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do all the things to join the Real Lover gang. Trust us, you want to be here.
Yes.
You know, make sure to leave a review on all the podcast apps and directories. Make sure you go on Apple and hit follow, and Spotify, hit follow wherever you like to view or listen.
YouTube, subscribe.
And make sure to
everywhere.
subscribe and do all those things. We are happy to have you back here with us. Or if it's your first time, we welcome you
Welcome to the
this
family.
show.
We love y'all.
Yes,
love
we
y'all.
do.
we love all the love we're getting from being back and like people being super engaged. Dre and I were like, do we like the virtual? And it's like, we like the benefits of the virtual, right?
Yeah.
We enjoy the benefits of it. It was nice. And like, we've done what I think some shows don't do. Like we were going consistently week to week to week to week to week, which while doing that and leading, other lives can be a lot. So I think we needed that moment, but it's clear that this is the vibe.
Yeah, this is the vibe.
We hear
like
you loud
this.
and clear. Loud and clear. So thanks for rocking with us.
For sure. We are happy to hop into our relationship topic for today. And what are we talking about, Rhonda?
Oh, today we are talking about, we're not just splitting bills, okay? We're breaking cycles. And if you haven't been able to pick up on what I'm putting down, we're talking about money and love and how the two collide. And it's one of those topics where like people really don't like talking about this.
Nope.
But it is one of the biggest reasons why relationships fail.
Yep.
It's one of the number one reasons, or one of the top, I think, 5 reasons for divorces.
So is.
And so it's really important that we talk about it, y'all. Like we have to talk about money. And I think, as we talked about in the Black Love episode, there's a rich history that comes with us. And I think money and that poverty mindset we talked about is a part of why we shy away from this. We have certainly systemically been disenfranchised and been put at a disadvantage when it comes to our earning potential and all of those things. But I think the best way to tackle that is to just dive right in and not continue to run from it. And as I said, 2 household incomes are better than 1. Okay. So we really need to talk about how to plan, how to save our money, how to spend our money, how to have conversations around how we're going to spend our money. And we happen to have an expert in the building today.
Expert.
DeAndre Smith. We happen to have an expert. Because one thing I've always known about Dre, he'll mess around about his money. Okay. He has learned some wonderful skill sets, has even put me on to an app that's helped me with like organizing my spending and all those different things. So I'm excited to talk about this with you. And also because like you're literally doing it. You have an actual spouse and you all have gone through different phases of money and business and all those things. So he's really the expert. Don't let him make it seem like he's not the one.
I can share my perspective on
I'm
what
gonna be
I've
over here taking
experienced.
notes. So I'm gonna be over here taking notes. So Dre, money and relationships. Do you remember when you and Bree had your first money talk?
Oh yeah, that was early on in our relationship.
Okay.
She had a very different relationship with money. She was a spender.
Okay.
I was a saver, but she also didn't track what she spent at all. So she wasn't a budgeter or anything like that.
Yeah.
So we were kind of apart vastly, probably I would say, from how we looked at money. But it takes time to come together when it comes to that too. Like I would say like only recently have we truly 100% aligned on how we're going to do things. But it took a lot of sacrificing on my end. I think it took so long because I had to meet her where she was too. Sometimes we look at the spenders in our relation, or the spender in the relationship, and think that they're just irresponsible, or that, you know, what they want is not of importance. And that's the one thing too, when it comes to money, we all tend to judge people's thing, right? But we all have our things, right?
Yes.
Some people it's clothes, some people it's, you know, technology, some people it's food, some people it's experiences and concerts and trips and things of that nature. Like, we all have our things that we like to spend our money on. The only thing is that it shouldn't come at the detriment of you and your relationship and your financial situation. So my wife and I definitely have went through it. We were so far apart, but now we're at a point to where, you know, we really are aligned on things and see things eye to eye. And it's kind of only fitting that, you know, we're in our early 30s, because I feel like in your 20s is when you're really trying to figure out life, right?
Yeah.
But once you hit your 30s, then you have lived a lot, you know, and understand what didn't work and did work. And I think what I'm starting to learn now is I think your 30s is kind of like the inflection point in your life, because it's, am I going to continue to make the mistakes that I made before, or am I going to learn from those and begin to do things differently? And we're at that stage where it's like, feels like almost like a reset. We know everything we did before. We started a business together. We did all these things. And now we're kind of going back into like releasing our YouTube again and doing things together again. But we've been through it all already. So now, kind of almost like this reset. Are we going to do things differently based off of what we learned, or are we going to do things the same?
How did you, well, I mean, you said like it's kind of only been mostly recent, but was there, I guess, a two-part question. Was there like were you trepidatious about the conversation? Did you feel like, we got to talk about it, but I'm like a little nervous about talking about it? And then if you experienced that, once you got past that, how did you all really kind of like come to this point of, we need to be open and transparent about the money that we have, the money we want to have, and like how we get there?
Yeah, I think when it comes to money conversation and relationships, to me, I care less about how much money you have and more about your ability to delay gratification.
Oh, explain that.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, money comes and goes, but I need to know your decision making behind money, because managing money starts with one thing, right? They always say, go with what you know. I know 100% if I want to be good with money, I have to spend less than what I make.
Yes.
We've seen people who are millionaires still go broke. Why? Not because they have an income problem. It's because they have an expense problem.
Yes.
Right? So I need to know that you can actually delay your gratification for something that you want, because no matter who we are or how much money we have, we can always spend to the limit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that can change. Today we might be at, you know, $60,000 a year, to where 10 years from now we might be at $300,000 a year as a couple. What are our expenses? And the only way that we're going to put ourselves in a bad situation is if we outspend what we earn.
Yeah.
So meeting my wife at 22, 23 years old, what you make, I mean, and then, you know, at that age, you still think you all going to be millionaires and all that stuff. Like, you have the ambition that you're going to do something that's going to earn you a pretty decent living.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really concerned about how much money you make. I'm more concerned about your decision making around money.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That, because it is huge, you know, and I've only been in one relationship where I felt like financially I learned a lot, and it was through a lot of intentional conversation and a reframing of how to manage money, and how to actually really, before manage the money, really like how to see money. I had always said I really would prefer not to live with a man that I wasn't engaged to and or like married to. Like, I would never live with my boyfriend. But I did it one time before, and also made me realize I should have stood on business with that. But then I turned around and I did it again, except this time, he had like basically got me like a promise ring and had a conversation with my mother. So it was like a pre-engagement. And we had been dating for a year before we just decided we were going to live together. But he wanted to give me that because he knew about my feelings around it. But we also weren't ready to like get engaged at that time. So, you know, for anybody listening, it was not a means to like just get something and give me something just so we can move together. It was a very thoughtful process. He was the first person that like once we lived together, like he was very transparent about like how much money he made. He was like, you know, his access to my bank accounts, like he just like exposed it all to me. And I was over here like, not me, boss. Like, I thank you, but I ain't giving you mine, you know, like and it wasn't because I was storing some trillion-dollar fortune in my bank accounts. I had just never done that. I felt like that was like a lot to do. And he didn't require it. He didn't like turn around and say like, I need to see yours since I gave you mine. And truth be told, I never like logged into his bank accounts, even though I had access to, we did have a joint account. We had a joint credit card. But I never looked into his things. We made a plan before we moved together on who would be responsible for what. He took on the majority of the household expenses and I took on more of like some of the leisurely things or like groceries or just like smaller things. And it would be times where, because of my patterns and behaviors in previous relationships, I would often say like my and your when I talked about money. And one time he just was like, you know, babe, and he said it in like the sweetest way. He just was like, you know, babe, money's just a resource for us to use. And like, we're together. And so my money is your money and your money is my money. And I want us to see it that way so that we're not tripping about it. Like you, when this comes up, you're kind of like tripping about it. Like, you know, I know that I took that out of your money, but I'm going to put it back. And he was like, you just don't have to think like that. Like there's complete like trust here. I don't think that you're like misusing money or anything like that. Even though there were times where I was misusing money, but not like in a sneaky, mischievous way. Just like, you really did not need to buy it right now. I should have delayed gratification, as you just shared. And so I'm very grateful for the lessons that I learned from that relationship, really on just how to see money as a tool and a resource and not something to choke me and not something to praise or glorify, even that it was there to provide us with a life. It was there to take care of the things we need to take care of. And it was also there to afford us opportunities and nothing more than that, like not making money our God. And so, and it took lots of conversations because I will be honest, I didn't come from a household where like my mom fully knew how to manage money. My mother knew how to make ends meet. My mother knew how to ensure that we had clothes on our back and food on the table. But in the background, I later learned that she was just, you know, she had to make certain financial decisions that were harmful to her in order to do that type of stuff. She was not earning as much money as she probably should have been. She wasn't getting the proper support from my dad. And, you know, my brother's father had long passed away. So the means just weren't really there. So I didn't grow up in a household where financial literacy was a thing. It wasn't really taught to me. So I have the classic story, 18, got credit, tear it up. You know, like that was and I taught myself later how to not do that. But like I said, that relationship, specifically speaking of money and love, he just in a very kind, gentle way, but also a firm way, showed me how to make money work for us and not how to be a slave to the money. Yeah. So it was very helpful and lessons that many of them I will really hold on to forever and ever. And I think it is like, just like I said previously, it's a really cool thing when you can get over the hump, right? Like money is a big hump in a lot of relationships. Even I think people underestimate even like very wealthy people go through that feeling of like, we have to talk about this because there's certain parts of our income that we probably have to join. How to protect assets. You know, most people that are very wealthy want prenups and postnups and all of these different things that you do to protect your assets. But I think those things are relevant, applicable to the average earner. and just ripping that Band-Aid off. And I think once you get on the other side of it, like, you're better for it. Like, we're clear about it. Like you said, this is what we bring in. Here's what we know we can't go over when it's time for it to go out. And then thinking about like planning, like future planning, like how our money is going to work for us, whether that's for children, buying a house, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head when you talked about resource and your previous relationship, talking about using it as a resource. And that was a conversation that I had with Bree early on, was we. Like, I always refer to everything that we went through as we. Like, we have to pay the student loans. Like, I didn't have student loans. I had full scholarship, but she had student loans. So it's like, we have to take care of this debt. We have to take care of this as we're going together, because we're trying to achieve something together. Yeah. And, you know, with us joining as one or planning to join as one, whether it's your debt or my debt, like, these things got to get paid, and we need to go ahead and knock it out regardless of whose account or whatever it's coming from. Like, I can care less. Like, it's just a resource to live the life that we ultimately want to live. And I think our situation is very rare, because we, for those who don't know, when we met, we moved in with each other, but then within like a few months of us making it official, she moved in with me, and then we started a business together. And then after we started a business, like 4 or 5 months later, I quit my job and we ran that business full time while we were living together, and we weren't even engaged yet at that point. We talk about just knowing. It definitely took a risk, but we went all in, and obviously it had its ups and downs and its challenges, but we had that rare situation of managing money together very early on and having to work through what that looked like, especially at the age of 22 and 23, to where the things that you want don't always make sense or not always of value, right? Like, when you're older, you value comfort, you value things that truly matter, I feel like, a little bit more. But when you're younger, you kind of throw a lot of money away because you don't really care about certain things, or the things you think you care about at that moment don't really add value to your life, or nothing that you will value long term. But in that, we learn what it looked like to be in true partnership with somebody who say, okay, we're going to put all this money in a pot, and what are our goals? All right, we got expenses we need to pay, house, car, electric bill, Wi-Fi. It wasn't like, hey, you cover this and hey, you cover that. When we first started, it was like that because she moved in with me. I had my job. I was already paying for stuff. But once we made the decision, it's like, oh, we really want to be in partnership with each other, and we want to make this a long-term, lifelong thing. We cut out the whole, oh, you pay for this, you pay for that. It was like, whatever comes in goes in this bucket. Yeah. And from the bucket, we divvy everything up and split it out and do everything it needs to do to serve our lives and the things that we want. But it also made us look at money in a very different way, because when you're in entrepreneurship, you can make $15,000 in a day or something like that, depending on what type of business that you're in. So it made us look at money different. But the biggest thing around money that I think, I talked about delaying gratification is one thing, but that person's true commitment to you and love for you is so important, because money changes, the job changes. I need to know that that person, regardless of our financial situation, is not going to leave me or go somewhere else because things might shift in, you know, our financial setup. Like, I need to know that cardboard box or big mansion, this love is here to stay, for better or for worse, that you are here for me.
Rich or poor.
And it's like, if we are there, then there's a sense of comfort around like going through the ups and downs of life and marriage. And even that might include financial. Like, you can think about it, going through being broke or having issues or things like that alone versus doing that with somebody. Even if y'all in it together, it's like, I'm in it together, but we can get out of it together too.
Yeah. And I think, you know, it gives purpose. You know, when you have someone that you're doing it with, AKA doing it for. When you have to look in someone's face, you know, I remember there were, you know, some tough times. And God, I hope, you know, my mom doesn't listen to my podcast, but a couple of her close friends do. But I say this out of like sheer admiration for her. There were times where there were like moments where like it was a tough moment in our house. Like financially, it was just tough. And I know that my mom was stressed. I saw that she was stressed. But what I also saw in her eyes was like, I've got to do this for them. I've got to do this for them.
Yeah.
If she was by herself, you know, you don't have anybody to really look at but you. And then you may also lack some level of motivation because you're not necessarily pushing.
I'll be all right. I can always sleep on my brother's couch.
I'll
I
be
could
fine.
always,
Yes.
you know.
Yes. Yeah. But it was, so I think when you do have a partner, even if you don't have kids, you're looking in Bree's face, she's looking in your face like, we got to do this for each other. I think that's, again, one of the greatest things about having that type of love, or like having lifelong partnership, is like you will not necessarily, you shouldn't feel alone. I know there's some people that are unfortunately in relationships where they feel that way, but you should not feel that way. You should very much feel like we're in this thing together. And I think when you're sitting down, like think about like group projects in school versus when you had to do a project by yourself. Sometimes you got through the group project or the team project because y'all were bouncing ideas back and forth. Like, oh, I know how we can do this. Or like that person is saying something, you like, what, that's a really good idea. To me, it's the same concept. It's the same exact concept when you're talking about really most things in your relationship, but definitely money management or tough times in money. Where it's like, we just need to sit down and like actually brainstorm and lay it all out and be very transparent about what's happening so we can come up with those ideas and figure out a path forward for sure. All right, let's jump into some framework here. Okay. We got 4 P's this time. The pass, partnership, practical, and protection. Okay. Pass, again, we teetered on this, but how you show up financially how you show up to your relationship financially has a lot to do with where you came from, what you saw growing up, how was money managed, what type of lifestyle you had as a child. It informs your decisions, or it informs your behaviors and your patterns. Did some of your, like you say, you were a saver, you were really kind of doing really good about managing your money at such a young age? Did that start at home?
Yeah, it definitely did. Yeah. To the best of their abilities. Like, and they gave me space to learn. And that's one thing that I feel like we don't do sometimes for our partners. And honestly, it was given to me as a child, but I didn't start off giving my wife the same space to learn as well. Like, I was given $75 for an allowance every single month in my bank account. And it was like, I did overdraft and I did do those things, you know, but that's part of the learning experience with just a smaller amount. And I was able to grow.
Dre, you had a bank account.
Yeah, I did.
Bank account before 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have that. Right. So it's just something that seems very normal to you. Is like, no, my first bank account was when I was old enough to open up a bank. Like, I was old enough to have my own bank account.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the best setup.
Yeah, for me it was like and there was things that that my parents didn't know that I look back and like, oh, if I would have knew that, then that probably could have helped me. But they definitely set me up for success. And I remember my dad telling me, like, don't ever be broke. And that always stuck with me. Whatever version of that means, that's what it meant to me. So I always had money saved. Like, even when I'd be like, I ain't got it. Like, I had it, but I just ain't want to spend it on whatever that is, or didn't want to drop below a certain amount or do anything like that. So having those examples and that foundation definitely helped me, but you need a space to learn. Like, I learned that with anybody, with my wife and her journey and understanding how to manage money better. It was like, I had to give her the space, because me trying to dictate every single thing, what you should and shouldn't do, you shouldn't be spending on that, you shouldn't do that, it didn't help the situation. It made her more of a rebel, honestly, of like, I'm an adult, I work hard, you telling me I can't spend money on X, Y, and Z, versus sometimes, as you know, being the leader, like, how we would used to break up our money was that we'll pay all the bills, we'll do whatever, and then we'll do like allowances for each other. Like, well, that's $800 to just spend on whatever you want. Yeah. Like, we have food budgeted, we have all these things. But I remember I was complaining about her excess spending when it came to things in a counseling session. And my stepdad was just like, why y'all have equal amounts? If it's something that she needs or struggles, you take 600, let her have 1,200. And it just never opened. Like, I never thought about it like that.
There like, what the hell?
But we talk about in our episodes what leadership is, right?
Yes.
It's in servitude of those who are following you. And it's about sacrificing. Some people need the space. Some people need more rope. Some people need more cushion for the fall. Like, so you have to be willing to do that. If you're going to lead, you have to be willing to take the back seat and say, in this moment, you need this as you're growing, as you're learning. So I need to sit back and do it. So for me, it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
But then I come to understand, once I saw the results of it, I was like, oh, if I actually give her more responsibility, she takes it more seriously and actually is more thoughtful in what she does with it.
That's so good.
But if I try to dictate how she does things, then it makes her rebellious and want to do the opposite of what I want her to do, because who am I to tell you as an adult that you can and cannot do something, especially when you worked hard for this?
My goodness. My, that hit me. That hit me in my chest. Who that hit me in my chest? Because it literally speaks to the next P, which is partnership. Like, when people hear partnership, what do most people think? Equal.
Yeah.
Most people think equal. And that's just not always the dynamic of partnership. Yes, you happen to be usually two people, one and one, coming together as one. But that doesn't mean within the dynamic of the partnership that everything is split right down the middle, where I pay half of this, you pay half of that. You get half our allowances, you get 8, I get 8. It's like, it doesn't always look like that. It looks like, on all these things, let's sit down and figure out those splits. Let's really sit down and figure out those splits, or just maybe we don't got to sit down. Let's just figure out those splits, even if we figure it out through tension, through a counseling session. That, like, I'm sure you were thinking like this right, because I think couples, when you go into therapy, like, this one gonna be in my favor, I know it. And then the therapist like, actually, or the counselor's like, actually, you like, damn, it's such an aha and discovery moment. Like, partnership does not always look like 50-50.
Yeah, and I know that that's the big conversation in this day and age, is like 50-50 when it comes to bills. And I want to respect those who find love and date later in life, because I did not have that experience. So I don't know, once I'm in the position and job that I have now, once I've accumulated the things I have now, if I might take a different position. Sure. But from where I currently sit and what I think, I don't understand why that's even a conversation most of the time, especially if you're talking about marriage and true partnership.
Yeah.
Not somebody that's a companion that you just want to have fun with, somebody that you want to be in partnership with. Like, why do you have your own thing and I have my own thing, and I can't have access to your thing and you can't have access to my thing if we're trying to build and grow together?
Yeah.
Like, why not just put it all in one pot? And I don't care. You can have your account. We have our account. That's whatever. But why is there not transparency and access into everything that's being done? Yeah. And why is this, it feels conditional, right? Why do I have to cover this in order for you to qualify me as being a good husband for you?
Yeah.
What happens if I can't?
Right.
Am I now on the timer to where you're going to bounce if I don't get back to the point of where I can do that? Because we're not talking about somebody with a lack of ambition. We're not talking about somebody who's mooching off of you and not working. We're talking about somebody who works hard, maybe has a great career. Maybe they earn a little less than you, or maybe, you know, they fall on hard times and lose their job, or their income level changes depending on the industry that they're in. Why is that a conditional thing for your love for me? And for me being a lifelong partner for you. So that's why I take issue kind of with the 50-50 conversation or thought process to begin with, because I'm actually in marriage. When something got to get paid, I don't care where it comes from.
Right.
I don't care who brings it in. Like, we trying to make this happen. Like, we trying to go on a vacation. We want to buy a house. We need to get this car that we both are going to use and live in and enjoy. Who gives a crap about whose account the money came from, especially when we signed up to be lifetime partners?
Correct.
I don't understand it. And I like I said, I give respect to those who find love later in life because
Yes.
maybe you have assets, you have
establish
things,
things.
and you establish things, and but it just gives very conditional love that I will only move for. Especially like you hear people saying, this is a requirement for me to, you got to cover. It's like, so it's my status or possible of being your husband is conditional off of my ability to do this for you. What happens if that doesn't happen?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You know me. You know I hate that conversation. And for some of the same reasons, but mainly because it's just not one answer. You know, like I get it, and I think that's the marriage money mindset that I would like to have, that like it's our money. Like I said, that's one of the biggest lessons I got from that relationship. It's ours. And like you said, when we need to do something, it doesn't matter. It's not even your thing. It's our money because we're a couple. I mean, we're a married couple. I do think obviously there are people that come into relationships that are very financially lopsided.
Yeah.
So they are a lot more sensitive around the my money versus your money versus what is actually our money. They would much more prefer to actually define that piece and still keep the my and your out of the equation. And also we have to give, you know, at least acknowledge that some people are truly dating people for money.
Yeah.
And then they're going to say that they're not. They're going to make it seem like it's for love, and they may actually truly develop real love. But to your point, let that money go out the door. So will the relationship, because that is why the person really got into the relationship. I think everyone should determine their financial wellness together for each other. Like for some people, that is a 50-50 mindset through whatever period of time, or maybe even forever. If that's what actually works for you guys, if it's healthy, there's no arguing about it, everything's clears the accounts, and that works, cool. If him paying all the bills works, full provision in that way works, cool. If she pays all the bills and he doesn't contribute financially and y'all are okay with that and you're happy with that, who am I to tell you don't do it that way? I'm not in your relationship. So it really doesn't actually matter. You know, like I think that's such a personal experience. And it's not really for us to dictate and determine how people should do it. My biggest thing is just do it well. Do it so that everybody's happy and pleased in the situation, that nobody's upset. Nobody feels like they're at a disadvantage. There's no resentment in this dynamic. Do it in a way that makes everybody feel good.
And it's not conditional. That's my biggest thing, is that
Mm-hmm.
everybody makes these lists when it comes to relationships. I want this. I want that. I want this.
Don't they make them list, Trey?
They make the list, and it all just feels conditional.
Yeah.
To where it's like, okay, if all this hits the fan, are you still gonna be here?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. That's the thing I'm worried about. Like through ups and downs, like you said, with vows, rich or poor, like sickness and health, like death do us part. Like, are you really in this, or is it based off of what I can provide to you?
Yeah.
And what I can give to you in a certain moment, because those things change. Like making a decision off of, and it's hard to say because everybody's in different situations, but I feel like making decisions purely and primarily off of the income somebody can provide is just setting yourself up for failure, because that can always change. Or you're putting them in such a bubble and a place of pressure that they might be tired of doing what they're doing.
Yep.
They might not want to do it. They want to take a break, but they feel like they can't, because if they lose that, they lose you. So then the relationship dynamic starts to shift because they're unavailable. They don't talk to you. They want to make sure that the credit card clears and all that stuff, but the emotional attachment, they almost resent you for making them stay in this thing that they don't ultimately want to do. It's like, it's so many things that come with like making that the primary thing, that it just doesn't seem like something, or through experience and things that I've seen, it doesn't typically work out to make that the primary focus of why you want to be with somebody.
Yeah, it really, Definitely not that, but I think that kind of goes into the next P, which is practical. I think like really taking a practical approach to managing money in your relationship. As we've said, it is a resource. It is there to help. It is there to take care of things. It is there to provide a life that you're comfortable with. But it's a thing on the board, just like everything else, right? We're not anchoring the whole relationship on one of those things on the board. All of those things on the board roll up into something that we both enjoy doing, which is being with one another. The finances is a checkpoint. Health is a checkpoint. Family rearing is a checkpoint. Like all of these things are things that we need to get on one accord about so that we have an overall very healthy relationship. Communication, checkpoint. If it's, mental wellness, how do we do that? Do you go to therapy? Do I go to therapy? Do you go to therapy together? Like, what do we do to take care of that? It's a checkpoint. You can't rest any of your relationship on one of those things. You just simply cannot. You have to take a practical approach to majority of it so you can just get through it so that you can spend more time like just really like enjoying each other, right? Enjoying each other. I would say the last P is something that even I need to work on as a person that's not in a relationship, but just with like my mom. You think about protection, you think about when I'm not here and what that really looks like. And a lot of young people, a lot of Black people, just being honest, but definitely young Black people aren't thinking enough about wills and trusts and insurance policies to ensure that your family is good when it's all said and done, and that all of your arrangements are aligned and things are taken care of, even down to like what you would want and what you wouldn't want. I say to anybody that will listen, that loves me, if I passed away, please don't have the pastor eulogizing my funeral where he's like, you know how you gonna see Rhonda again? You got to get right with Jesus. Please don't have that at my funeral, right? Like, don't. It's the little things, but it's also the big things. That's a big part of financial planning, is planning for when you're not here. We're all going to die, right? That is a sure shot. That is absolutely positively going to happen. So sitting with your partner and talking about what that really looks like, especially when you have children. My uncle, as I shared, passed away recently, and unbeknownst to his family, but it was a great thing, he had different policies, some that went to his kid, some that went to his spouse. So everything was in decency and in order, and that wasn't a stressor. Not having your money straight is stressful. And so it really is about destigmatizing it and just having the conversations. The faster you all sit down, like Dre and Bria, just get to it, put the money in the pot, let's figure out what we're doing about our debt, about our financial life, you'll be better for it.
Yeah.
And not avoiding it.
For sure. Yeah. And I want to go back to the point of the resource. Money is a resource, because that encompasses all these 4 Ps. And I think perfectly talks about and explains how money should operate in your relationship. Like my wife and I, we discuss money, but when we talk about our lives, we are talking about the things we want to do, the places we want to go, the things we want to accomplish. Hey, we want a house like this and that. We want to go to this place and we want to go to that place. Now, money is the means to do that, but the goal isn't to necessarily be rich. The goal isn't to have X amount of money. The goal is to live the life that we want and envision for ourselves. And the cool thing about money is that the more that you strip the least amount of things that it takes for you to be happy, the less money starts to matter.
I get what you mean.
And I noticed that recently that, I was ambitious and chasing X amount of dollars and doing things halfway because I'm trying to find the lottery ticket opportunity and deal and, piece of content that's going to launch us into
this windfall of money,
to this windfall of money. But then we start to go back and it's like, what do I need to truly be happy? I love my wife. I like where I live. I love my friends. Like, besides taking trips, like the car we drive is cool. Like, I'm good. Like, it would be nice to, be on a yacht and do this, but I don't need that to be happy.
Yeah.
And I don't need the approval of people that I don't know to like my lifestyle or what I'm doing to be happy either.
Ooh.
So once you start stripping those things away, you start to realize like, I don't need a ton of money even to live the life that's ultimately going to bring me joy.
Yeah.
We have a few things that we're trying to do. And of course, as we grow our income, it provides peace in our life and provides stability. But the chasing of millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, it's like, we don't necessarily need to have that to be happy and to enjoy life with one another.
Yeah.
And when you realize that is the most important thing, your peace, your joy, your happiness in a relationship, and money is just a means to get there, your relationship with it changes. And the thing too is that like, why the partnership thing is so important is that even if we say we want to live this life, and let's say, yes, it takes money to get there. If I'm married, who am I devising the plan with?
Right.
The same person, right? It's even if I'm working and they're not, like I'm going to need their support and they're going to need me to take care of things too if I'm working. So we then again have to come together and devise a plan together about how we're going to achieve our goals. It's like, it's important, but don't make it the main thing. How do we want to live our lives? What's going to make us happy? And then also understanding, like with anything in life worth having takes time. It's all compounding. You want a great relationship? It's putting in the work every single day. It's compounding. You want to achieve a certain amount of money? It's putting in compounding, investing, right? Over time, your money grows. You want to build a successful business? It's putting in the work every single day, compounding. Everything in life takes time. So when you start to realize that, then you're like, I'm so busy trying to rush this process to get the big house and to do this and do that. Let me just enjoy where I'm at. And then every day put in the work, do the things that I need to do. And it ultimately get to the life I want to live. Like every single day, every single month we'll budget. We'll spend less than what we make. We'll put some money away towards savings and we might invest something if it makes sense. Guess what happens over the next 3 to 5 years? Right. You're in a much better financial position. You can do a lot of the things that you want to do. Your relationship is a lot better, but it's like, we all fail because, like I said in the episode before, I think, and I credit my mom for this, is that we want to jump from mountaintop to mountaintop. We refuse to go from the mountaintop here, go down, and then come back up. Yes. We just want to, but we waste so much time because we can't go from mountaintop to mountaintop. Yep. So we waste so much time not knowing that we're going to have to go back down. You got to go down. You just delaying it. Because you ain't trying to go back down and go through it to go back up.
Yeah. Yes. There, you cooked that. You cooked that. That was great. That was really good. Green and red flags. Simple, easy. Green flags. Be an open book.
Yes.
Be transparent.
Yes.
And devise a plan. And a plan on a plan. You know, it's okay to have plans within the plans. You know, you have an overarching financial plan, but then you have subsets of that. The current plan, the monthly budget, the monthly budget, the income, the regular bills, right? That's plan one. But then you have future planning. You also can have debt planning. How will we pay off the debts that we have? You talked about student debt, or whatever it is. Maybe you all have credit card debt. You don't want to have those things. You don't want to carry those things for the duration of your life. That's a plan, a plan that backs into that first plan. Because where you going to get the money from to pay for the debt? It's got to come out of that income. So that debt plan might actually include income earning. Right? Like if you look at this list and you notice that this income for the most part really only takes care of those monthly recurring things, you can barely even tackle that debt plan. Well, now you have to come up with an income plan. You have to come up with an income earning plan. Or is there an expense in that first list that can go, that needs to take a back seat, delaying that gratification, that we want to skip Netflix for this year, you know, or borrow the password from a friend. You know, we're all about community here. But yeah, definitely have a plan and just open, transparent communication. Sorry. And then red flags, again, the opposite of that, but some things to really look out for: financial control. A lot of people really want that take care of everything for me, not realizing that sometimes you sacrifice power because that control is in the wrong hands, where that man is not going to allow you to make financial decisions. You won't even be a part of them, and he doesn't respect you enough to make you a part of them because, well, he probably has a feeling that you just really there for the money. So he's going to control the purse. Financial abuse runs rampant in those types of dynamics. A person that's secretive, a person that will make financial decisions without considering you. You all might have heard of this viral story from a year or so ago where this woman decided to just take $17,000 out of her joint bank account with her husband of 20 years to take care of something for her brother. And that man said, I'm seriously considering divorcing her. Like, seriously, like I consider this a major violation to our marriage because we have never we don't do this. The money is there, but when it's time to be used, we talk about it. You don't want to do that. You don't want to betray your partner when you've devised the financial plan and then you go back on it, or you're stashing money away behind their back. I think a man who respects you and loves you could understand if you're saving money. You're just saving money. But when you frame it like I'm stashing money away just in case,
or in secret, it's like,
yeah, it's just like we should just talk about it. I'm maintaining a savings account. I would like to maintain a separate savings account. That money can be used for this relationship when we need it. There's no need to introduce the concept of if this relationship ends, I have that money. You know what I mean? Like, who wants to be married to someone that's planning to be divorced from them? Nobody actually wants that. We know it's a possibility, but nobody wants that. So, listen, biggest takeaways before you start to really merge your life. And Dre, I think, and Bree are a bit of an exception because they were so young.
Yeah.
But if you are of a certain age, you've been in your career, before you really start to merge things, really sit down and talk.
Yeah,
right.
We didn't have much to merge.
Yeah. Like, put the guardrails in place, put the guidance in place, so that you're not now legally tied to the person, and now you're finding out little fun secrets like you have $500,000 in debt and your credit sucks, and I never thought to ask these things, but now I'm your wife. Or you marry a man and he's on child support and you didn't know that. Guess what happens? Y'all are on child support. Mm-hmm. Y'all are on child support. So we get it. It's a tough conversation. It can be a tough conversation, but we got to prepare ourselves for tough conversations and just rip the Band-Aid off if we really want to be better for one another. So we hope that you got some good tips from that. Listen, money is a killer of relationships, y'all. Yep. And we do not want that. Remember, we are trying to keep families together, especially Black families together. And thus getting this figured out for ourselves is only going to make our communities and our families better. So let's take it serious. Take it serious. Be sure to leave us a review if you enjoyed this episode. We love hearing from you. Drop that in the comments if you have any tips. If there's some money resources out there that you really like, budgeting tools, financial planners that you love, let's make this comment section a full-on community around building up what we want to see in our communities around financial health. But also let us know what you thought about this episode.
Yeah, and I want to say too, it's like, you're not going to be perfect in it, right? We all are humans. We mess up. You might go down to zero and got to build yourself up. But I just want to let everybody know that it's okay. Like, we've seen people go from 0 to 100 real quick. And it takes time a lot of times, but it starts with you taking the action of wanting to be intentional around succeeding in that space and being intentional with your finances. But don't think that everybody here, even Bree and I, like, we don't have it worked out completely. There's still things that we got to improve on. Yeah. We make bad decisions when it comes to money. We put ourselves in holes that we probably shouldn't been in off of impulses. Like, it's just being human, right? But we just want to be smart and hopefully learn from our mistakes. So
that's it. All right. Well, make sure you follow us on social. I'm at Ronnie Cakes.
As Dre Smith.
And at Relationship Restore. And subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on all the Spotify apps. On all the podcast apps, including Spotify. See you next time.
See you.